You're now watching a clip from the Inspired by show. You can watch the full episode on our YouTube channel or listen on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to head over there, leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it, and follow the show. And Marcela, what was that like for you then, going from, like you said, the love of your life, losing him and him passing away, and then trying to move on? You know, you're talking about your new relationship. Like, how do you even navigate that from an individual's perspective, let alone the fact that you've got, you know, kids to consider?
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying. There's so many things going on through my mind now. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. I had in my mind, I was like, right, God, I came into my husband's life 2 months after you have met someone. So you got to do the same deal for me.
You're like, I know this is possible.
Yeah. And I was like, I said, no, I can't. It's just too much. I am someone that is heart-based. I need to be able to receive so I can also give. You know, this is the story I actually was telling myself. But it was not true. It was far away to be true because I was not ready for anything. I was not ready to give my heart to anyone, to make space in my life to anyone. And it took me a year, you know, to be able to start putting myself out there, you know. And it was so interesting. The first person I have met, and that's me just being vulnerable, just being me, just talking, and I don't care who's going to be listening to this. No, I care, I love all of you. But any case, let me just share something funny. So I have met someone extremely wealthy. By the way, he does live in Chelsea.
Which, for anyone who's listening or watching, is where our studio is. So.
No,
small
I'm
world.
sure he's not. Any case. So in my mind, it was like, right, okay, I can't live on this life that I am now. I need to change my whole wardrobe, you know, if I'm going to have any relationship with this person, and they'll go to, you know, fancy restaurants and things like that. So it was the first stage, yeah? Go through the wardrobe and change the whole side of the wardrobe that belonged to my husband. It was a shoe there. That was probably the second most painful day of my life. Like, my oldest son helped me, and, you know, people that go through grief, they understand what I'm saying. Every single item, it has a story, it has a memory, and it's difficult. And it's done. You know, we got rid of everything. We have kept loads of things, and I stayed 3 days in bed after that. I had no energy. I was totally drained. That's what I'm saying. It probably was the second worst day of my life. You need some tissues here, Chloë?
We'll need to get a box for the table.
Jesus, I'm probably the first one that comes here. Sorry.
Don't worry, take your time, lovely.
Oh dear, right. Any case, so I have met this person, and it didn't work because he was not ready to meet my kids. And I was like, okay. Imagine, at that time, we was not in full lockdown. And I had the forest holiday park. Yeah, I had a cabin for 12 people, plus the tree house, all for us. And I thought, create the perfect atmosphere and environment, you know, for we meet everybody, and very friendly, you know. He was scared, he never showed up. He apologized. And I was like, you know what? You can't, you know, be so welcome to my kids. It means you're not the right person. You know.
Yeah.
See you later.
That's the hard bit, though, isn't it? Because you've now got kids to protect as well.
Yeah,
and I know any mum that's looking for love, or dad, or any, you know, guardian, shall we say, has that responsibility. But when you've lost someone, like, it's not like you left someone.
Yeah.
It must feel different. I mean, how did you then decide that the person you're with now is the person you want them to be?
That's a very good question.
I hope you have decided that.
So
I've asked that question.
Any case, We haven't signed any papers yet.
See, we laugh and we cry on the show. That's what the show's about.
Well, I just want to go back to that first example because I want to share why I'm mentioning this. Looking back to everything I have been through and the people that I have met, every single one of them, they had a role in my grief process. They was responsible for something, okay? The role of this first person was actually somehow be in my life. So I had the strength to be able to make space in my life for something new, in my wardrobe for something new. Before, no shame, my space in the wardrobe was only 75 centimeters. Now I just have a huge space, loads and loads and loads and loads of clothes. Went back to my shoe collections.
Love it.
But it has been that beginning that I needed to start to slowly giving myself permission to be able to investigate who is this new version of me, be able to somehow allow myself to be awakened to life, to relationship, and nowadays to love. It's still not fully open. And my partner knows that, and he still respects, and he has loads and loads of patience. But it's a work in progress.
Yeah. I think the key is for people not to compare and feel
impossible. I'm so sorry, impossible.
Yeah, exactly, impossible, because there's people are so different, aren't they? And I think a lot of people, when you lose, and I can't relate to losing a loved one in the sense that you have, I can relate to other members of my family. When people start to try and replace, the puzzles don't fit.